Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark and I'm a UK based dealer in antiques, vintage and collectibles. If you love your old stuff, then this is the channel for you. We talk about all aspects of the trade, and although our channel is growing the subscriber count, we are still small enough so I can answer any questions you may have. So don't hesitate to get directly in touch with me. Today we're going to look at my favourite 10 sales of the past few weeks, and I'll talk you through why I bought them and what they sold for. Hopefully you will find it interesting and it will give you a good idea of what is selling on eBay. Before we start, if you would like to support our growing little channel, please like, comment, subscribe and share to spread the word. Anyway, enough of the housekeeping, let's dive straight into my favourite top 10 sales of the past few weeks. Number one on my list is this fantastic solid brass Pegasus horse. And by Pegasus, I'm referring back to ancient Greek mythology, the winged horse. It's about 9 inches tall, solid brass on a base, and it came as part of what I call the Worcestershire Haul, which was a collection of about 150 brass, copper and metal items that I picked up from a fellow dealer out in Worcestershire. It was the contents, I understand, of a retired antiques dealer's workshop. The detail in the casting is very good and it is heavy as well, which would increase the value in my opinion. You can see, being brass, it's acquired quite a bit of patina over the years. That's why I do believe it is an antique piece. You can see the verdigris that is ingrained into the casting detail on the wings, and particularly around the face, tail and legs as well. This type of verdigris only comes with age really, so it does give me some confidence in its age. It is always difficult to date metal items, and I'm pretty confident this is a British casting as well, as opposed to coming over from India. Again, that's just my gut feeling based on the weight, the detail and the patina, but one can never be absolutely 100% certain on that, and you have to reflect that in your listing details as well. So overall, a beautiful solid brass Pegasus horse that sold within a day or two of being listed on eBay. I was tempted to keep it at first, and in fact I did have it on display in my living room for a while, but in the end I thought, no, let's sell it, let's move it on, give it a new home, and it sold for £50. Second on the list is a fantastic piece of industrial work in stock. It's a galvanised steel fire bucket, painted red with white lettering. You can see on the inside that there is still residue of the sand it contained. I definitely recommend picking these up if you see them on your travels, as they're great sellers and are really popular with the buyers. Quite often they're used in retail settings for decorative purposes. In fact, I believe this particular bucket was used as a prop at an exhibition. These fire buckets always sell and generally go within a day or two of being listed on eBay. In this case, I achieved my asking price of £45. Third on the list is this spectacular Victorian oak book slide. This book slide is Gothic Revival in style, and I estimate it dates from the period around 1880. So towards the end of the 19th century. You can definitely therefore call it a genuine antique. It's made of oak with decorative brass embellishments. The patina of the oak is fantastic, and this only comes with age. As we now know, patina is as a result of exposure of the surface material to oxygen. The quality of the brass fretwork is good, and so it's really important that you capture this in your photographs when you list your item on eBay. What makes it stand out from the crowd is that it has bone inlay. You'll see a lot of these book slides around, but not many of them have the inlay that you can see here. At the time of listing this book slide, they're changing the law in the sale of ivory. So Before listing, it was really important I made sure it wasn't ivory and is in fact oxbone. I can't emphasise enough how important it is that you are able to distinguish between bone and ivory, because selling ivory now online can land you in serious trouble. I have 2 films online that you can look back at, one which features changes to the ivory law, and the second one tells you how to tell the difference between bone and ivory. So check them out if you think that might help you. This book slide sold really quickly when I listed it on eBay, and I achieved an asking price of £50. Number 4 on my top 10 list is this beautiful copper arts and crafts fruit bowl. The arts and crafts movement was in its heyday between 1880 and 1920 in the UK and North America. It was a reaction to the factory-made products of the day, and as the name suggests, relied more on handcrafting than machinery. However, having said it's the arts and crafts period, it also reminds me of Art Nouveau styling, which took place between 1890 and 1910. So there's definitely a crossover in this period. The Art Nouveau period was often inspired by natural and organic forms. So I'm sure you can see where I'm coming from when I say it does remind me of that period. This copper bowl may well have been manufactured or produced during that crossover period of around 1890 to 1910. Again, it was a fast seller when I listed it on eBay, and I took an offer of £30, which in hindsight may be slightly low, but at the end of the day, the money is now in the bank to be reinvested in more stock. At number 5 in my list is this highly decorative hand-painted basket. It's papier-mâché with an acrylic design on it, featuring fruit in a basket. Now, these originated, I understand, in the China region, but they are made throughout the world now, so it's a bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where it originated from or what its provenance is. The papier-mâché is covered with a gesso type of material or possibly plaster, and then it's painted on top, so it can chip, although this one is in fantastic condition. It also reminds me in a way of bargeware, but it's not typical of that type of British design. The style of artwork on it is far more classical than you would get on a piece of bargeware, and I'll show you a photo now of a typical piece of bargeware so you can see the side-by-side difference. Also, if it was bargeware, I don't think it would have been made of papier-mâché, as items used on the canals would have to be a lot more robust than that. The quality of the painting is good, and if you do a search on eBay, there aren't many of this type of item available. So I was able to list it and sell it at the top range of my estimate. The bin sold really quickly and the price I achieved was £31. Coming in at number 6 on my top 10 list is a classic piece of work in stock. It's a mid-century West German Schurig ceramic plant pot. The number on the base is 88717. And if you're not sure what that means, well, 887 is the pattern or shape of the mould, and 17 refers to the height of the plant pot in centimetres. I bought this particular pot because of its colour. Vibrant reds and oranges, yellows at the moment sell really well. Personally, I steer clear of the browns and the dull sepia sort of colours. They're just not selling as well as the vibrant, bright colours, which people use as standout or feature items in minimalist homes. I'll buy these mid-century Schurig pots all day long if I can get them for the right price. They're a timeless item and always popular. So my advice to you is if you see them and you can get them at the right price, which would be around the £5 to £10 mark, then snap them up and you'll certainly make a profit. And this sold really quickly for the asking price of £27.12, And why, you might be asking, what's the 12 pence all about? Well, every week I drop my prices of listed items by 1%. So I do have some fairly random asking prices on my eBay shop, but it all makes sense in the long run, as eventually the price points will come down to when potential buyers are interested and either buy it for the asking price or they'll make an offer. So as they say, there is a little bit of sense behind the madness. At number 7 in my list is this copper Indo-Persian or possibly Middle Eastern charger. So you might be asking, what is a charger? Well, it's a type of plate that has been in use since the 19th century. They are sometimes referred to as service plates or underplates. They have both practical and decorative uses. They are used normally as a base setting to serve dining courses onto, and they are intended to enhance the dining experience. Now, it is copper, but it has been tinned, which means originally it was used to serve food. It has a lot of wear, as you can see, and most of the tin has been worn away. So I'm very careful always in my eBay listing to describe this sort of item as heavily distressed. So there are no nasty surprises for the buyer when they open their package. You can see it's been hand engraved, and the style of the engraving and the patination of the copper tells me it's definitely late 19th century into possibly the early 20th century. These chargers always sell well, and I find customers use them as fruit bowls or as display items on tabletops. I always pick them up whenever I can, and a particularly good hunting ground for these sorts of items is the Malvern Flea Market. Quite often I can walk away with 2 or 3 bags full of copper chargers or plates. Some dealers might call this an Islamic style charger. I don't, and I reserve that label for items that have text or calligraphy on them. You can see from its design that this particular charger is a little bit different to the commonplace ones that you find, in that it is raised off the table slightly. Not exactly a pedestal, but it definitely stands on a foot. I particularly like this charger as it has a natural patination and doesn't look as though it's been polished in its lifetime. This always adds considerably to the value, in my opinion. The hand engraved pattern is a simple geometric design, and this adds to the overall aesthetic appeal of the charger. As usual with this sort of item, once listed on eBay, it sold really quickly, and I took an offer of £25, which again in hindsight was probably on the low side, but it moved it on and put that money in my back pocket to go out sourcing new stock. Coming in at number 8 on my list is another great piece of work in stock. It's a solid oak butler's serving tray with decorative grip handles and mouldings around the top surface. There's not much to say about it, to be quite honest. It was in really good condition other than a couple of water stains, but as far as I'm concerned, that's part of its life story. If you've watched any of my previous films, you'll know I don't restore stock that I buy in. I try and buy it as near to perfect as I can. I will clean and polish them, but I don't get into stripping them back, staining, French polishing or refinishing them. To me, they've lost all of their vintage or antique patina by doing that, and therefore lose some of their integrity. As I always say, you only get original once. This sold within a couple of days of listing it, and I accepted an offer of £26. Coming in at number 9 is an old friend we featured in a previous video on how to clean brass and copper. It's the solid brass Indo-Persian pot I picked up from the Malvern Flea Market a couple of weeks ago. It's produced in the repoussé style, which is a highly skilled technique whereby the craftsman hammers out the pattern in relief, producing an attractive embossed design. As you can see, I cleaned and waxed this pot, but left the original 19th century antique patina well alone. In my opinion, it's a mistake getting out the brasso to polish up antique or vintage brass, as all you are doing is stripping it of its history and character. So I leave well alone in that department. These antique brass pots are fantastic sellers, and I achieved the asking price of £80, which I think is a fair price.
Finally, at number 10 in my list of recent sales is what I believe to be a hardwood African dough bowl or dish. And by that I mean a piece of functional kitchenalia used for rolling out dough when making bread. If you think I'm wrong in my assumption, let me know in the comments below. It's definitely a tropical hardwood and is incredibly tactile and functional. Maybe it will still be used for making bread, but I would put money on it being used as a table centrepiece or as a fruit bowl. I love the simple hand-carved functional design and the wonderful antique patina of the hardwood. It caught my eye straight away, which was lucky as it was laid forgotten on the floor beside a dealer's stall. Looking under tables is one of my top tips when searching for stock, so why not check out my previous video featuring top tips on sourcing stock at car boots and flea markets. I picked it up at the Malvern Flea for the right price and it sold for the asking price of £60. So there you go, 10 of my favourite sales from the previous few weeks. If you have noticed the continuity change and the fact I'm now wearing a completely different shirt, it's because I've been clearing a container all week and it's taken me several days to finish this video in between numerous trips moving stock to my new storage facility. It's definitely a glamorous life, this antiques and vintage game. Anyway, I hope you found this film interesting and that it has given you a good idea of what is currently selling on eBay and in the world of general antiques and vintage. If you think I deserve it, please like, comment, subscribe and share this video to support our growing little channel. And as ever, if you are a new subscriber, please let me know where in the world you are so I can add you to our digital subscriber map. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.